Ho'okahi ke aloha, all united in harmony and love. We are celebrating shared parenting. Our intent for this event is to celebrate parents and resource caregivers who have a supportive partnership that increases the well-being of children in foster care. We hope to invite other parents and their children in care, along with other resource caregivers who may not necessarily have this type of working relationship. The hope is that they will be touched and transformed when stories are shared at this event.
I think when I first became a resource caregiver, I interpreted it as, the family is bad, now it's our job to be the good family. But what I realized is that was wrong. And now kind of the way I look at it is, now I have the opportunity to expand and strengthen this person's family. We're not replacing it.
So before I was placed with Joe, I was in a few homes and there was no shared parenting. So I was always thinking about my mom, like, where is she? What was she doing? One of the things that I really always appreciated about Joe is that he always had something good to say about my mom. Parents can say, oh, maybe we should invite mom, maybe we should invite dad. And so asking those kind of leading questions and just always having their parents, even if they're not there, but always having them in conversation, keeping them alive in the home.
When you look at the kalo plant, it is where life literally began for Kanaka Oiwi. So when you look at the kalo, every single piece of the kalo is significant. Every single piece has a use. You look at the ha, which is the stem that holds up the lao. We use that as a metaphor for the lao being the keiki and the ha being the makua. So when the makua is steadfast and strong, the lao, the keiki, is shining bright. And it's usually the first thing when you look into a lo'i patch, the first thing you notice is the lao. When you think about our families, when you walk into our home, the first thing you notice is their keiki. But when the ha is not strong and the ha begins to wither, what happens to the keiki? They too become downtrodden. So it's so important for us to pay attention to the ha that keeps our keiki upright. Ohana, the value of ohana. Oha, right? The offshoots, na, making it plural, which really talks about the generations. So in this olelo no'eau, imai ka'ino ke kalo I ka oha. The goodness of the taro is judged by the fine young plants it produces. So we as makua, the way that we raise our kids, the way that we take care of our keiki is really important. Within our ohana, similarly to a va'a, a canoe, everyone has a kulana, which is a role, and a kuleana, which is their responsibility. And when everyone does their part, the ohana is able to thrive.
So my mother was actually my children's RCG. Because of our relationship together, she was always very encouraging, and I always felt still connected to my children. She always encouraged the relationship between all of us and always made sure that we were working together as a team and that would benefit the kids, mentally, and it would also, make the kids less scared or fearful.
I think overall resource caregivers have a bad reputation. A few bad apples gave everybody a bad reputation. I think to be a good resource caregiver, you can't care what other people think. There's always the comment, oh, you're doing it for the money. It's like, you could rent out to college students, it'd be way better. Yeah, as you have those conversations with people, but at the end of the day, you just can't care what people think, and you just do what is right.
See, a lot of people think kuleana means responsibility, but it also means privilege. And when you think about it, the things that we are charged to be responsible for, if we can look at it as also a privilege that we get to raise our kids. We get to speak into their lives. We believe that it was everyone's collective kuleana to instill and live out these values according to what our kupuna laid out for us to follow. You see, when we come together to malama our keiki, although the load may seem heavy and the tasks ahead overwhelming, we are stronger as a community when we laulima.
Coming from the child welfare system and now being able to serve families through Epic Ohana Family Rapaport program, but I try to utilize Ohana conferencing as a way to bring the family together, right? As a birth parent, I think my biggest thought was like, oh no, my kids are gonna get hurt, or who are these people? And so definitely go into it with an open heart, open mind. There's so many different programs out there that we can utilize as birth parents to help build those connections with RCGs. So don't be afraid to ask. I mean, if shared parenting is something that you feel would be beneficial for you and your family, don't be afraid to utilize your social workers or providers and ask for help.
Ohana nui ke ala ia. No task is too big when done together. We need each other to make it happen.